How's it going, Habibis? You guys asked for it, and here we are. We are going to be playing Fiendsmith Dark Magician, and this first duel we got here is a banger for you guys. I took a lot of suggestions from the comments, and a lot of them were really good on how to play this deck. I have a couple different versions of it. I'll show you guys at the end. This one actually utilizes Toy Box, which is really cool to be able to use again. Toy Box as well as Diablo Star. And I have a version that I've kind of stuck with recently that I've had a lot of success with. I'll show you that one as well. And I will tell you which replays. The first few replays here are going to be the more fun version. We did use this at the beginning of Master 5 to Master 3. And then from Master 3 to Master 2, we've been using the more serious one, I guess you could say. So here we're going to use the Fiendsmith engine to set up Desiree. Desiree is a big boss monster. It can negate multiple cards at once, multiple face-up cards at once. Next, we're going to use the Diablo Star, tributing the sequence here, the Sequence, for Deception's effect. Summon out the Rosalago. Rosalago is going to search for Wanted. We're going to summon our Verte Anaconda. Let's go ahead and get the negates for Desiree going. Summon out Ilia Sylvia and search for a Diablo Star. And all this, mind you, we have not normal summoned yet. So we summon out Dragoon. We already have a very intimidating board. And of course, our top deck here is going to be Preparation of Rites, which is going to let us get IOC. IOC is going to let us get Magician's Rod. Now we utilize that normal summon. Finish up our DM Triangle, grab Circle. And here we have the DM Triangle. Dragoon, Desiree, Ilia Sylvia. Follow up with Diablo Star for next turn. Beautiful end board, multiple disruptions, very much layered. Let's see how it goes here for Dad. Dad is playing a weird Sky Striker deck. They play Soul Release, which is really interesting. They try to banish my DM. I say I might as well save it, so I'm going to use Eternal Soul. They play another Soul Release. Next, they go Mobilize to grab Ray. Then they activate another Mobilize. I'm going to negate this one. The reason I negated the second one and not the first one is because the second one would have allowed them to draw an additional card, right? Because they had 3 or more spells in their graveyard by that point. So I said, what the heck, let's negate it. Kagari is now going to try to grab a Ray. I'm sorry, to grab Engage. I used Desiree here. I probably should have used Dragoon. My mistake. Because now they're able to go into Typhon. Typhon, of course, spins back my Dragoon. Very sad. And they said 2 and pass. So they outed Dragoon, but did they really do anything? Not really. I'm going to get rid of the DM because I know it's going to come right back. They're going to negate my Diablo Star with the Widow Anchor. Now I'm going to use DM to force out that back row. They're going to use D-Barrier. I'm going to negate it. Since I know that's their last bullet, might as well negate it. So now I'm going to just try to generate as many plays as possible, and I'm going to go into Requiem, sending my Desiree to the graveyard. When Desiree goes to the graveyard, you could spin back a monster on the... I'm sorry, you could send a monster on the field to the graveyard. So that's what we did there to get rid of Typhon. And then at this point in the duel, I'm pretty sure I'm low on time. So I kind of just have to attack. And before I could really make any additional plays, I have to end my turn. So they're in a top deck situation. Luckily, they don't draw anything, and that's GG. But that is just a taste of what this deck can accomplish. Let's go into some more replays. All right, before we go into the next replay, we are going to go over the deck breakdown. And for some of the more perceptive ones, this is future Maddie talking because my original deck breakdown got wiped off, and I do have a clean-shaven face. Tell me what you think. Anyways, this is one of the 3 deck lists I'm going to show you. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I'm going to overwhelm you with maybe some of these deck lists because I was really just in the lab taking engines out, putting engines in, cutting engines down. This one has Primite, Azamina, Fiendsmith, obviously DM. And we use this, and I'd say this is a pretty effective one. We also have... this one, which is the Toy Box engine, basically substituted for the Primite stuff from the previous list. We made some changes here and there. This is more of a fun list. I think something that I do want to emphasize to you guys, the next list I'm going to show you is very, very potent. These are a lot of fun. Yeah, obviously, I always feel very at home with DM when I'm playing Toy Box, so I really enjoyed this one. But the main one that I've been grinding through Master the previous season with was this one here. Primite, Fiendsmith, Dark Magician. A lot of success with this one. You're going to see later on, I'm going to talk about the hand traps I added in. I believe this one has a 91% chance of opening a hand trap and like a 60% chance of opening 2. So those are very good odds. You also have very high chances of opening a starter. So this is a very potent deck. I would highly recommend this deck if you guys are looking to grind to Master. I think the Fiendsmith engine is very good, and hopefully you guys get from these videos that you're about to watch, these replays, you guys understand differentiating when to go Verte, when to go Sequence, and the times when you could do both. So be sure to watch these replays. I'm going to probably have another video coming out tomorrow where I go over more replays with the Fiendsmith stuff, and then we'll talk about some other DM stuff in the future, because as good as this deck is, I do want to keep experimenting with other things. And yeah, I mean, it might still be Fiendsmith iterations because, like I said, I think the Fiendsmith engine is very powerful, and there is some elements of synergy for us with DM. We'll talk about those later. But anyways, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button for me, and enjoy the rest of the replays where it's past Maddie, but it's present Maddie. This was actually a really funny duel. This was in Master 3, and I'm just gonna say, just because you have a good deck, that doesn't make you a good player. However, a lot of times a good deck can cover up for bad plays. Let's analyze this one. So first off, I do inadvertently play into Max C. I opened ref, and it always puts me in an awkward situation when I open ref, because I never know if I want to ref and risk getting ashed and then ending my turn. It's tough. So here, I'm gonna just try to set up as much as I can. They got the blue eyes everything, so I figure they're playing blue eyes. Little do I know they're trying to jabate me, and they do jabate me. But they do kind of waste a Lancia here. So in terms of card advantage, I'm fine with that. I am able to get DM in the graveyard so that I can revive it with my Eternal Soul and set up my Drill Beam. So we're gonna revive DM here. Drill Beam is now gonna be live. And I'm gonna hope to use it at the perfect time here to disrupt my opponent. You know, if they have the extender, they have the extender. I'm going to use it here on the X, and we banish it, negate it. And unfortunately, they debated me. They really had a Royal Rare Ice in their back pocket. But hey, like I said, they're pretty bad players, so we'll see what happens here. I mean, maybe they're not that bad. I think it's more so the fact they really like shiny buttons, and they just kept clicking the shiny button a little too often. So here they're going to attack over DM, attack over my Fabled Lurie, and they're going to draw a card off of Cross's effect and set 2 and pass. So now, this is interesting. My Ether Barrel is going to trigger in the graveyard. They're going to Chain Detonator, pop my Eternal Soul. Now on Resolution, they're going to negate it with Cross. So they just got rid of 2 material off of Detonator. Eternal Soul triggers, nuking my field. There was nothing to nuke. We're gonna go ref. So I learned my lesson. I'm just gonna go ref. If they got me, they got me. Actually, not really. I learned my lesson. That was my only play, and fortunately, it worked. So ref resolves. We summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. They activate this X tier, and I thought for a long time, and I decided to negate and destroy the X. Okay. So we negate and destroy this. Dragoon goes to 4K. That's the benefit there. They don't get follow-up. And now this bonehead, a little rascal him, he decides to click the detonator button again. So he pops my back row, no big deal. Well, now I'm going to activate Dragoon's effect. He sees the yellow button again, and he activates detonator a second time, a final time. Now he can't protect it. So detonator's effect says, for those that are not aware, if an Xyz monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach one material from this card instead. Now he has no material to detach. Homie threw hard here, but I'm not complaining. Hit him for 5,500 burn damage, swing for 4K. GG. Ryziel in a bad player's hands. Not meant to be. I thought that one was kind of funny. I really hope, guys, that these videos, if nothing else, they give you multiple ideas on how to play your favorite deck, right? I know a lot of people are purists. I know a lot of people just kind of want to play Dark Magician and only Dark Magician cards. But you know, I really implore people to be as innovative as possible. I think that's something I love so much about the DM community. We innovate the heck out of our deck, you know? We really try to find synergy where it may not even be, but you know something? We try our darndest. And a lot of times it helps us take DM to new levels, and I hope that at least with these videos, you guys are seeing the different ways to play the deck. Azamina, Bystials, Fiendsmith, you know, all these different engines that help us make Dark Magician better. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, making Dark Magician better. And I really feel like this Fiendsmith engine does it. Is it the best way to play it in this current format? Perhaps. It's really hard for me to tell. I've played this for maybe 50 duels, but I've played the other ones for like 1,000, so it's really hard for me to tell right now. Nevertheless, we are now going to set up our Ilia Sylvia. Okay. And we're going to use the Engraver effect in the graveyard to summon itself. Then go into Fiendsmith Sequence. Fiendsmith Sequence is going to summon out Lacrima. Lacrima is going to summon out the Engraver. So now I think they suspect that I was going to go Caesar. They were 100% right. So they use March here a little bit too early there. They're forced to do that because of the pressure from the Fiendsmith engine. Now I'm going to draw the card that I stacked with Soul Servant. Okay, it's Magician Souls. We're going to send DM. We're going to send the Roar to the graveyard, which is going to allow us to have that disruption for next turn. Okay, next we go Anaconda. And of course, you guessed it, Dragoon. And Dragoon is going to pop these two cards. So basically, they just wasted these. And they did that because of the fear of Caesar. Now, on top of that, we have double Imperm. We have Drill Beam. We have Ilia Sylvia. I mean, this is a disgusting board, guys. Drill Beam is live because of the Ether Barrel. Ilia Sylvia, 2 special summon negates. Dragoon, double Imperm. Roar in the graveyard, man. I mean, this is insane. We're cooking. And the Maliss player has to scoop. They can't do anything. And that's a GG. I thoroughly enjoyed this this replay because I thought it kind of just showed how all the engines come together. And, you know, it's good to put Maliss in their place. You love to see it. This was a fairly interesting matchup against, you guessed it, Maliss. I did have somebody highly suggest I play Nibiru. I did have a crash out moment on stream where I was getting sick of going second. I think it got to a point where I went second 72% of the duels I played in over 30 duels. We went second 72% of the time, which was like, that's an insane number. So I got really frustrated. I started playing a bunch of non-engine, a bunch of going second cards. And then all of a sudden, you know, I started winning coin flips, but I did end up liking the ratios of going second cards. So we decided to play Nib. I have to wait for this Maxi. I need to make sure I draw off of it, but unfortunately my opponent does hit me with Ash Blossom. So we're left with the Nibiru and a Dream. They go into the Red Ransom, and once this Link Decoder hits the field, we're going to Nibiru them. Nibiru hits, and it effectively ends their turn. So now Soul Servant is going to be activated, putting Magician Souls on the top of our deck. Magician Souls is going to send DM, as you guys know. Next, we're going to link into Moon of the Closed Heaven, and away we go. Fiendsmith Engine. It's very simple. It's very annoying, but it's very powerful. Okay? And it's really cool we're able to generate off of it. Just the amount of bodies, the amount of pressure we're able to put on our opponent with just the Fiendsmith Engine alone. So here we're going to go Lacrima. I'm trying to go for the OTK. I can tell they don't have anything at this point. Of course, OTK, you got to summon Agnumde. This guy is such a behemoth. We top deck into the Tract off of the Soul Servant. It really doesn't matter because Agnumde is going to be able to let us generate so much damage. So here's 1800 damage. Then we summon out our Engraver from the graveyard. Engraver is now going to be boosted up to 3600. And then we finish him off with Lacrima. Even if we link summoned, even if he had more life points, we would just link summon off Lacrima and then hit him for 1200. So we were able to cook there and get an improbable victory. I'd say that was a very tough win because we didn't really have any engine to begin with the duel, but we were able to rely on our non-engine to basically tame our opponent until we're able to just get the 2 bodies on the field, which is all we need to make Fiendsmith plays. All right, so here we're going up against Tenpai. As you can see, this guy has selected to go second. So let's see what we can cook up. We're going to go Prime My Roar, summon out Dark Magician. Getting out bodies with this Fiendsmith engine is very important. So getting this extra Dark Magician in play is going to allow us to set up a lot of interesting stuff. So here we're going to go Tract after our Lurely Load gets negated. Tract is going to banish the Lure. I'm sorry, discard the Lurry. Lurry is going to summon itself. Fiendsmith Requiem. Requiem is almost always going to summon out Lacrima. And we are now going to go into Fiendsmith Sequanche. Now, I decide here, because I know I'm going up against Tenpai, I decide that the best course of action for me is to actually set up Wave High King Kesar. Now, Kesar, aka Caesar, is 2 special summon negates, which is pretty huge. It could be very huge, especially against Tenpai. So we're going to set up the Caesar here. Excuse me, the Kesar, and then set up Dragoon. And we end our turn with Ash in hand, Dragoon, 2 pops off of Caesar, 2 negate and pops. I'm sorry, special summon negate and pops. And then we also have Prime My Roar. Don't forget about Roar in the graveyard. So here's the Roar. We're going to use it to get rid of the Pydra. And then they're going to go Sangan Summoning. I'm going to negate and destroy Sangan Summoning. I always like to get Sangan Summoning off the field if I can. And the homie scooped before we can Ash him and hit him with the Caesar. But that is just what we're able to set up through some disruptions going up against Tenpai. All right, let's go first here and let's see what we can cook up. Lordly Load, get ashed. And before I make my next play, I'm going to tell you guys, if you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment below and everything that helps the algorithm and all that good stuff. You know, I don't want to bore you guys with the details, but just do it real quick. You know, I don't want it. It's not for me. It's for YouTube, you know, make YouTube happy. So anyways, we get hit with Droll here, which is unfortunate. So we can't use the IOC. However, we are able to set up our Drill Beam. I'm going to go ahead and imperm this cheesy cat. And then I'm going to try my best to use this Drill Beam at the best possible moment, which is going to be right now because the Lizardos does banish for cost. So I want to do it before it can activate its effect. So now we are going to draw. We top deck our Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod is going to grab the last piece of the DM triangle, set Eternal Soul. Let's go IOC. IOC is going to grab Magician Souls. Now Magician Souls is going to activate Summoning Dark Magician, banishing the back row. And next we're going to go into Imduck. I have 2 monsters on the field. We're going to go Moon of the Closed Heaven, but I also have a 3rd monster, which is going to be very important for Link summoning later. Sequence is going to be coming here shortly. I went into Lacrima. Lacrima sent the Engraver. Now we go into Sequanche. Summon out Desiree, and I'm going kind of fast because I think you guys know this combo. Agnum Day, great for OTKs. Quick effect here, so we're able to attack and then summon out Desiree and attack again with Desiree. And we're gonna wrap it up with a dark magical finish. GG. This has been a lot of fun with this deck. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very impressed with the power of it. All right, Habibis, I'll be short and sweet here since you guys already saw the deck list. This is the main one that I would recommend. I feel like this is the most powerful one, the most consistent one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If there is any changes that you would make to this, if you guys have tried Fiendsmith DM, what do you guys think of it? Let me know. You know me, I always respond to the comments, so I love talking to you guys. Anyways, Habibis, until next time, take care of yourselves. Go out of your way to make somebody's day special. And I will see you guys later. Peace and love, Habibis.